Hi there, and welcome to your Wilderness Therapy. My name's Dan, and today I'm going to be talking to you about heartbreak and specifically what to do if you've just been dumped. Firstly, I'm deeply sorry you're having to go through this right now. I've been there myself. It can be completely debilitating. It is so painful. It literally feels like your insides have been ripped out and you're totally disorientated. You don't know what to do with yourself. But that's one of the main reasons I've made this video, because I've been there myself. I know how it feels, and I also know what you can do to get out the other side as fast and as pain-free as possible. I want to take a minute just to commend you for watching this video, because this is the first stage. If you're looking for answers, then it means you're seeking resolution from the pain that you're going through right now. And that takes a lot of courage. So I commend you for that. This isn't easy, and sometimes you don't know where to turn. It can be easy just to bury your head in the sand and hope that you're going to wake up tomorrow and it's all going to blow over. But that just isn't how this works. This is the real world now. And I'm going to be totally frank with you. This can take some time to get through, but I'm going to break down in 8 practical steps the things you can proactively be doing that are going to help you. The reason you feel so much in pain right now is because heartbreak affects us not just mentally, but also physically. Mentally, you're distraught. That has a knock-on effect to our physiology. The emotional stress creates hormones that flush through the body, like cortisol. This is our stress hormone. This can mean that your blood vessels are constricted. That can cause the tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, literally all the symptoms you'd have if you were going to have a heart attack, which is why sometimes it can feel like you're just about to drop dead. But I'm here to tell you, you're not going to drop dead. If you're feeling like this, it just means you're an emotionally healthy individual. You see, the body sometimes can't differentiate between emotional pain and physical pain. And our body responds to heartbreak in the same way that it would do if you're actually physically being hurt. And on an emotional level, you actually go through similar stages that someone would do if they were grieving the death of someone. Those stages typically are denial, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. Now, this isn't a linear process, just like grief. You don't just progress through those stages each day and then suddenly you're clear of the pain. That's not how this works. You might feel all those emotions in the space of an hour. You might feel those emotions over a course of a day, but you'll certainly exhibit some of those emotions over the period of a few months. But ultimately, you want to get to the point where you get that acceptance of that decision that's been taken out of your hands, acceptance that you are now free from that relationship, and acceptance that you have to take responsibility for the future and the fact that you're now on your own and it's time to start living your life again. So it's tough. I'm not trying to say that it's easy. And don't for 1 minute think that because I'm spelling this out in logical, simple terms that I'm trying to make light of this, because it is anything but that. And if your family and friends try and play this down, it's simply because they can't remember going through heartbreak, or they've never truly experienced heartbreak at this level. Because when you're a teenager and you have your heart broken, you're quite emotionally immature. So you can think things are worse than they actually are, but ultimately you can get over things quicker because you have less of your future invested in that relationship, if that makes sense. Whereas when you're an adult and you go through a breakup, it can be so debilitating because you might have planned your future. You might have thought about having a family with this person, moving in together. You might have already done those things with this person and still got to this stage. So it's like not only has the past and the memories been taken from you, but the future's also being snatched from you. And that is really painful. But what you've got to remember is the only thing that is truly real is this present moment, right here and right now. The past has been and gone. Yeah, you've got some fantastic memories, but the future was never guaranteed. That was only ever an illusion. So don't invest too much emotion in that. You have to break this down now into the present moment and what you can do right now that's going to help you get out the other side. Before we go into the 8 practical steps that you can do, I want you to know that you're going to be okay. I know that because, like I say, I've been here myself, and there are times when you worry, am I ever going to feel better from this? But I promise you, you will. You're much stronger than you think. And the fact that you're watching this video shows great strength. I mentioned that before, and I'm going to reiterate it because some people don't even have the strength to type that into the laptop, scroll through their phone. They can't think straight. They can't think clearly. and they struggle to get out of bed, they struggle to eat, they struggle to sleep, because when you're lying in bed, you're thinking back about the relationship, you're reminiscing on the memories, and you might be looking back through text messages and things like that. But unfortunately, that is in the past now, and it doesn't serve you anymore. You never took photos of when you were arguing. You never took photos of when the other person wasn't feeling this. You didn't know what was going on in their head. And in most heartbreak situations, if you've been dumped, you didn't see this coming. But for the person who dumped you, they've probably been battling with this for a long time. They didn't just wake up one day and think, I want nothing to do with this. This is painful for them as well. And I will do another video on how it feels for the dumper, because I've also been in that situation, and you'd be very surprised at the emotions that they're battling right now. No one wants to go through this pain, and no one wants to cause this pain on somebody else. So this wasn't a decision that they took lightly. So you need to remember that. But right now, you've got to look out for yourself. And as I've just said, you're going to be okay. The other thing is, you're not alone. There's many other people who are battling this as you are right now. And when I say you're not alone, it means that just because friends and family directly in your circle aren't going through heartbreak and they might not be able to relate to it, there are therapists, there are counsellors like myself who are able to specifically help on these topics. And, I'll go into my details at the end of the video where you could work one-to-one with me, and we can talk through your specific breakup, because no breakup is the same. You can't just say hard and fast, this is what you need to do because this has happened. Every breakup has different facets to it, and everything is different, and every human is different, and everybody reacts to things in different ways. That being said, certain things, like the things I'm going to go through, will stand true to anybody, and they will help you positively, because the idea of this is to come out of this breakup having learned some valuable lessons. And this is the precursor to massive growth. It might feel so uncomfortable right now, and it's hard for you to imagine this, but this isn't a failure. This is an opportunity. And just reframing that in your mind is really, really powerful. It's changing it from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. And that being said, the other thing I want to really nail down on before I go into these 8 practical steps is that time really does heal. With every second that passes by in this video, every minute that ticks past on that clock, you're one step closer to being free from this pain. So when I said earlier about focusing on the present moment, focus on the passage of time. Every little moment that passes is success. It's a little win. And every day that you wake up and the sun rises again, you're making progress. It might not feel like it. It might be ever so slight, but you are getting closer and closer to the point where you won't be in this pain. This is temporary. It feels like your world's falling apart right now, but this will pass. I promise you that. Now, continue to watch, and I'm going to go through the 8 practical things you can proactively do to make sure you get the other side of this heartbreak situation, and to make sure that you're a better, stronger version of yourself that is going to attract someone who's better suited to you and who isn't going to break your heart. So now I'm going to break down the 8 things you can do that are going to help you get through this heartbreak. Number 1 on the list is to breathe. Sounds simple, sounds basic, couldn't be further from the truth. It is one of the most powerful things you can do in this moment. I'm not going to get all Wim Hof on you and start dancing and chanting, although that stuff does work. I just want you to simply focus on what are known as physiological sighs. So in these moments where you're triggered and your head's all over the place, and you feel like you're going to have a heart attack, you feel like you're going to pass out or something because you're just overthinking it and you're reminded of this traumatic event that's taken place, you need to bring yourself back into that present moment. Remember what I said? The past has been and gone. The future hasn't happened yet. All you have is the now. And one of the best ways to get in the now is just to focus on your breath. Now, a physiological sigh is performed by taking a big, deep breath in through your nose. And at the top of that move, take another sharp intake of air, and then hold for a second, and then release out your mouth. Do that 3 to 10 times, anytime throughout the day. It's a good way to start the day as soon as you get up in the morning. It's a good way to end the day. So you start the day calm, you end the day calm. But say you're at work or you're out with friends and you suddenly feel a bit like, oh God, I just remember what's happened, and it hits you in a wave. You can just take yourself out of that equation. Even if you have to go and sit in a cubicle in the toilets and just do a little bit of breathing, it can really calm you down. Honestly, it can lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, and reduce those pangs of anxiety. So, number one is to breathe. Number two on the list is focus on the things that are under your control. What's happened is totally out of your control. Your partner has decided to pull the plug on this relationship. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change their mind. So you need to focus on the things that you can still control. And those are simple things like when you get up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, what you eat for dinner, what you eat for breakfast, what you eat for lunch, and what you do with your time, exercise, go to work, things like that. So you need to establish a healthy, rigid, predictable routine. This becomes the framework by which you can live, because you didn't know this was coming, this heartbreak. And the fact it's taken you off guard has blown everything out of the water. Your nervous system's all over the place, your head's all over the place, you don't know whether you're coming or going. So you need to have some things that you can fall back on, that you know are going to be there. You know, you've got food in the cupboards, you know you're going to eat for dinner, you know you're going to have for breakfast, you know what time that alarm's going to go off. And the benefits of this are, not only is it something that you don't have to think about after a while because you've got it all prepped out and you've got it all planned, but it also helps you feel better in yourself, because by eating at the right time, exercising, and going to bed at the right time and getting up at the same time, you got more chance of getting a good night's sleep. And as I've already touched on, it's going to be hard to sleep at the moment because your mind's going to be racing. So you've got to help yourself as much as possible. So you don't want to be punishing your body for something your body hasn't done. You might be tempted to lie in bed, not get up and go to work, and just stuff your face with rubbish and wallow in your own self pity. But where's that going to get you? You can't do that forever. Remember, this isn't the end, this is the beginning. So let's start by doing things right and things that can be sustainable for your health in the long term. Number three on the list is something I've just covered briefly: exercise. Exercise is the most powerful antidepressant you can take. You don't want to start taking tablets, because what, are you going to take them forever? And what are the side effects of those tablets? What if your tablets aren't handy? Exercise is something you can do whenever you want. You don't need to pay anyone for it. You can go for a run, you can go for a walk, you can do some exercises at home. It's free and it's so beneficial. Your body produces feel good chemicals after you've exercised, and it gives you that high. And at the moment, you're chasing those highs, because with every little high, every little workout you do, you're offsetting the lows or the big low that you've just encountered from the heartbreak. So exercise as often as you can, ideally on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be something extreme. You don't have to be training for a marathon, but even just going for a walk, it's extremely rewarding and extremely powerful. And also, every time you show up for yourself and you exercise, it raises your level of self-esteem and it raises your value. And remember what I said, those little wins are what you need right now, because your self-esteem took a real hit from this breakup. So you want to boost yourself back up, and exercise is one of the best ways to do that. And it'll also boost your confidence. There's just so many benefits to it. I can't go on about it enough right now. But number three on the list is exercise. Number four on the list is get outside. Sunlight heals and nature helps to calm us. So the mechanisms that are set up in our body when we're exposed to sunlight, it doesn't even have to be a sunny day, just getting those light photons on an overcast day set off all the things in our physiology that lead to good sleeping patterns, our circadian rhythm, the hormones required for hunger, all the good stuff. It starts with the sun. That's why we always feel better when we go on holiday. We always end up trying to go to sunny places, because everyone tends to have a better mood when they're in the sunshine. So like I just said, it doesn't have to be the sunniest day, but even on a cloudy day, just try and get out first thing in the morning and last thing in the day, and just get that daylight. And it always raises your mood. Like I just mentioned, by getting outside, you're often going to be exposed to the natural world, and the natural world is extremely calming for us. Science has proven that just listening to birdsong lowers our heart rate and our blood pressure. I won't go into the reasons, the scientific reasons for that. I can delve into that in another video about the benefits of nature, how deeply in tune we are with the cycle of nature and why we feel so calm there. But it can help put everything in perspective. And I always remember when I was going through some dark times and I went for a walk and the rain was coming in sideways, the wind was howling, and I saw a little robin up in a tree just singing his or her heart out. And I was thinking, it's getting battered by the rain, it's getting battered by the wind, but it's still showing up for itself. And that's what you've got to do right now. And despite of the whirlwind that's going on around you, you've got to show up for yourself. And just gaining some perspective on that. You haven't died. It could be a whole lot worse than it is right now. So be grateful for the things you do have and let nature, give you some perspective on that matter. Number 5 on the list is to keep busy. I don't mean distract yourself all the time so you don't get a chance to process what's actually going on. I mean, you want to find productive distractions. So going to work, you might not want to go to work, but it can be really good because when you're at work, people are talking about work things and serious, supposedly serious stuff. And in those moments, you're not talking about what you're struggling with. And it helps to have a break from it because you can't just ruminate over the heartbreak all day, every day. That won't be helpful either. So some distractions that also lead to some form of progress. If you're going to work, it means you're earning money. That money is helping keep a roof over your head, allowing you to pay for your bills and also to pay for your food and what have you. But other things like hobbies or even just a project, say at home in the garden, say you want to weed the flower beds, it's something you can look at and say, well, I've achieved something there. You can actually see the product of your efforts. And that is another mindset shift. It's another one that boosts your self-esteem. It's another little win. And we're chasing those wins at the moment to offset this low that's happened. So get busy with productive distractions that have an emphasis on progress. Number 6, get off social media. I know a lot of us are addicted to our phones these days, but right now, watching other people living their lives is not going to serve you. You need to focus on your own life and getting out the other side of this situation that you find yourself in. You're going to see other couples, you're going to see other people all living their best life because it's just the highlight reel. No one's putting their arguments on there. No one's putting all the bad stuff that's going on in their lives. They're just putting the good stuff. And comparison is the death of joy. You don't want to be looking at that at the moment because you're not in an emotionally stable place. So it's going to trigger you and make you feel worse. You might even see your ex on there and you might make assumptions about who they're with and what they're doing. And I'd say assumptions because 99% of the stories you tell yourself at the moment will be false. You'll think, oh, have they gone off with somebody else? I bet it's that person. Oh, what are they doing with them? I bet they're not feeling any pain. I bet they've moved on. But trust me, you'll be wrong in 99% of those cases. This wasn't a decision they came to overnight and they will be struggling with it too. I will do other videos on that and how it feels for the dumper because I've been there and I know what they're going through and it's just as painful. No one wants to do this. No one wants to put themselves through the pain or their partner through this pain. So I wouldn't block anyone on social media and I wouldn't unfollow them. I'd just uninstall the apps because I think those can be quite provocative and then it might encourage your ex to be reactive on it, and you don't want to make the situation any worse than it is. So my advice is just remove them from your phone. So you're still there as far as they're concerned, but you're not looking at what they're doing and you're not watching what other people are doing. Remember, this is about you now, and you've got to get out the other side of this for your own mental and physical well-being. Number 7 on the list is to grieve. Remember earlier on in the video where I said that you'll go through a similar grieving process that someone would do if someone had actually died? You've lost someone. That loss of connection is a big deal to humans in general, emotionally healthy humans anyway. So you need to have time to process that. You need to have time to cry. You need to have time to vent about it and talk about it. These are cathartic. They allow you to offload some of the stuff that's in your head, and it can allow you to take another stepping stone towards being free of this pain. You can't cry forever. You can't talk about this forever, but in these early stages, it doesn't hurt just to have a moment here and there throughout the day where you do allow yourself to grieve because, it was something special and it's no longer there. So if you just can try to sweep it under the rug and pretend it hasn't happened and just move on with your life, jump into a rebound relationship, It's still in there somewhere, and trust me, it will rear its ugly head, whether it's in the next relationship or at another point in your life. It's still there. You don't want to transfer this pain on anywhere else. You want to deal with it now, process it, and put it in the past, and then move forward. All of these things being said, number 8 on the list is to seek help. The fact that you're watching this video means you're looking for answers, and I've already said well done for that. But often your friends and family don't understand what you're going through, and they can give poor advice. They're also emotionally invested in you, so they're not going to be able to see this from a neutral perspective. This is why I'd recommend reaching out to someone like myself, a therapist or a counsellor who specialise in these things, and we don't have that emotional attachment. We can see it from the outside, and we can help you gain understanding of what's gone on, and also what you can be doing to help yourself. Like some of these things that I've covered now, because you want to make sure that you're dealing with this in the correct way so that you can come out of this a better, stronger version of yourself, so you can meet the right person going forward. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. My contact details are at the bottom of this video. You can get me at dan@yourwilderness.therapy.com or on any of my social media platforms under Your Wilderness Therapy. And, I'm here to help you. You're not alone. You're going to be okay. I've got you. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. This isn't a failure. This is an opportunity. You've got to trust me on this. If any of this resonates with you, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel, and that'll encourage me to make more videos like this. And I just want to say thank you for coming here and watching this video today, and I really hope you're okay. And I'm going to do another video of what not to do when you're going through heartbreak. So please check that out, and I really hope it's helped you. Take care.